Should we go on to In Too Deep?
I think we should
Too
skip
deep.
that one.
No. So Josh likes it now.
It's me. I'm a fan now, I believe. It's really fun to rap along to. I love the hook as well. It's very catchy. Again, quite a unique beat for him, very Kanye-esque in a way. Yeah, I can't pinpoint exactly what I like about the song specifically.
I think a reason why it's hard to pinpoint why we connect or like these songs so much is because the album as a whole does sound really fresh for him. Like, even though it's a brand new album, there was something about Revival that didn't sound fresh. Or, I don't know, even Marshall Mathers LP2 that didn't sound fresh because it felt like it was done before. I think Music to Be Murdered By, he like used an inhaler and got a new wind, you know? And he just sounds like he's actually analogy. Having fun for once.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
This is like really the first album we've heard from Eminem since, I don't know, ever, where he's just making music for fun and he's not really responding to people, you know? Like, you could go down the list of his albums, like Relapse was him getting all the drugs out of his system, and Recovery was him figuring out, you know, getting his footing back, and Marshall Mathers 2 was a sequel to that, and then Revival was like, I don't know.
That sounds out to me most. I remember during like that 2014 to Revival era, he became very complacent. Like, he just kept doing that Marshall Mathers LP2 sound over and over and over. So a huge backlash to Revival, in a way, was really the best thing that could have happened, because it reminded him, ironically, that you know, it reminds him that he's become complacent and that it was kind of kicking the ass, you know, to get back on track. And we saw that with Kamikaze, where suddenly he started using all this modern production and everything and flowing, you know, well again. So I feel that's just an expansion of that. You know, he's being kicked right back into the proper mind state, and then this is the product of it.
Yeah. Someone on Reddit actually said that this idea that since Eminem's comeback, Kamikaze, like the last 2 years of the 10 years are like the first time it feels like he's actually sort of getting his footing again for like a possible second wind, if that makes sense. Like what John was saying when he ran down the albums, like Relapse, he's flushing drugs out, and it's kind of weird because I feel like maybe a little too isolated from the world at that point, just like make an entire album mainly about like serial killing and weird accents. But and then Recovery, I mean, I appreciate the heart of that so much. I feel like I have a newfound appreciation for it, but I just think the execution was not there. And maybe it was just because he was too brand new to like being human again. And then of course, obviously Marshall Mathers LP2, we went over that in Revival, but it feels like, since Kamikaze, it feels like he's finding a new sort of life force. Like you said, he got a new wind. It's refreshing to see, certainly.
After, very, very well put, by the way. Yeah, after all of his albums, like, you know how we had like Slim Shady and then Marshall Mathers LP, and then like all of his albums kind of came in twos. I've always like wondered like what the next step's gonna be, because like it became so predictable at one point. It's like, all right, you know, it became predictable to the point it's like, well, we know the next Eminem album's gonna start with the letter R, you know?
Yeah.
So like nobody saw Kamikaze coming, and then nobody saw this album coming. It's just it made being a fan fun again, because it's not so predictable anymore.
Exactly. Someone was even saying that online, that it was great for this to happen because it was like the formula was, or I guess starting with Kamikaze, the formula was really broken. I mean, just a surprise album of him responding to people instead of like trying to cater to people's tastes or try and do something that he thinks people want. But yeah.
I think that's exactly what he needed.
He feels just really on the pulse with what's going on in rap right now. Like, cause I remember again with that phase, he went through, you know, he would release an album and then he'd do like 2 random side projects, and then another album like 2 years after that, and then another side project. You know, whereas now he really feels like he's just actively trying, really, rather than just having fun with it. You know.
Yeah.
Shout out to ShadyXV and the Southpaw soundtrack.